Hi, thank you for joining me, Colleen. And this is our next recording for conscious well-being. It's going to be a special practice called TRATAK, which is a Kriya practice, which is a cleansing practice, very cleansing for the eyes, which are really the furthest outpost of the brain. Actually, the eyes are actually a part of the brain. And so the eyes, this is a very cooling practice for the eyes, and which affects kind of the mind, right? The brain gets heated. And so in Ayurveda, they say this kind of goes with the pitta dosha, the more heating dosha. So this is a wonderful way to kind of get rid of that excess heat that we hold in the eyes that affects the mind as well. The mind, when it goes into restlessness or agitation, it's usually heated up, right? So we're going to practice that, and then we're going to slip into a meditation at the end. So TRATAK is actually a beautiful practice to start this quieting down of the mind and the body. So you want to find a comfortable seat, and you can just go through this recording with me at first, and then you can just kind of use it as a template where you get kind of the basics of it, and then you can just make it your own. It's just a beautiful practice, and it can become a meditation practice, and you can utilize it with all types of breath practice. I like to do it with Nadi Shodhana often, especially if I can't sleep at night and I don't want to get up and do something too stimulating. This is kind of a nice way to bring again yourself a little bit down out of that state of agitation and restlessness. So this is a very old practice. It's a hatha practice, and probably pretty ancient from the hatha yogis. So we'll start with just the basics of, you'll place a candle about chest height and about arms a distance away from you. I have mine already lit. And we'll gaze at the flame with the eyes for about a minute, and then we'll softly close the eyes and hold that vision of the flame. Hold that image right in the center of the brow, the Ajna chakra. And when that starts to just kind of dissipate and dissolve, then we'll open the eyes again. And we'll do this 5 times. Okay, so let's take 3 nice breaths to begin. So just breathe in nice and easily, and we'll bring a little bit of energy through the spine, laying through the spine. You can keep your eyes closed or open for this part. And exhale, we'll feel a little bit more settling, getting a little heavier in our seat. Make sure you're comfortable. You could sit on a chair, of course, for this as well. I just happen to be on the floor. Be in a quiet spot. Well, you won't be attracted to anything else. So give yourself that amount of time and that amount of isolation. And we'll take one more breath. Breathe in for space and length. And exhale, go down deep into your seat as you breathe out, softening the shoulders, but remaining nice and easy through the spine. And then settle your gaze softly on your candle flame now. Your eyes might begin to water and begin to blink. And oh, by the way, I forgot to say this, but if you have glasses, please take them off for this practice, and you might want to have some Kleenex tissues nearby as well. So focusing on this flame for about 1 minute. Take in all the changes, the variety that you see in the flame itself, the shapes, the movement, the the colors. Let your eyes just softly kind of rest on the candle flame. Bring an inward smile to your lips, and that will help really keep the eyes from fixating. We always want to find that balance between too much effort and ease. Let your eyes blink. Let the tears run. Now softly close the eyes together. Visualize that flame right in the center of the brow. Keep your breath smooth. Keep noticing if your body's kind of moving into any tension anywhere, and just let yourself softly breathe it out. Sit back a little bit. If you're maybe too comfortable, too sleepy, or too lethargic, you might want to sit up a little bit more, bring a little bit more active into your seat. And then when that visual, that image begins to slowly dissolve or evaporate, and we softly open the eyes again. And again, softly cast the gaze at the flame, and we begin again. We'll do this 4 more times. Noticing how your flame might be kind of dancing and flickering about, reminding us of that restless mind, that agitation of the mind that's drawn in towards the senses. We get pulled towards what we desire and get pushed away from what we don't want. Like, I don't want to hear my dog barking right now. He's barking anyway. And I'm using that everything works, right? We bring it all in to our practice. Whatever shows up. You always want to be a little lighthearted in practice, right? If your tears are streaming down your cheeks now, congratulations, you're doing a great job. Or your eyes are doing a great job. Really cooling them off. Getting rid of that internal heat. And softly close the eyes now. We'll frame that image right between the brows. Just as long as you'd like here. As long as you see that image, you recreate that image. And we don't cling to it, we just let it be and let it dissipate, let it vanish in its own time. And again, your timing might be different than mine, But again, when you do this on your own, it will be following everything in your own good time. So again, this is my template for you to work with and expand or contract out of it. You can just softly open the eyes, again, taking that flame without fixating. It's hard, right? It's hard to, we tend to fixate, we tend to go in with too much effort, the over efforts. It gives us pretty much zero returns. So see if you can soften, relax a little bit, get into your seat, feel a little heavier in your legs, in your bum. Let your spine be nice and tall, but again, without over efforting, by holding it up. Right, let there be softness here. Let your eyes, let your vision completely be engulfed by that flame. Imagine it just wiping out the darkness of a clouded mind. Let your eyes blink as much as they need to. Let them water. Let yourself tear. And softly close. Holding that image. In the Gita, there's a beautiful passage referring to the light of a candle. It's something like when meditation is finally mastered, the mind becomes unwavering, like a candle burning brightly in a dark, windless place. And in the depths of this meditation, the self will reveal itself. So let the image clear from the center of your eyebrows. And again, begin to open again. Softly, finding that balance between too much overexertion and too little. Slowly close the eyes, holding the image, letting your flame just burn there right in the center of your brows. This area of discernment, that brighter intellect. The image is dissolved. Begin to slowly open the eyes and softly setting your gaze on that flame, continuing noticing all the subtle changes, different patterns of movement. You might need to sneeze or blow your nose. That's fine. It's all part of that cleansing process. Everyone's affected differently by it. Softly close. Let go of any physical tension in the body. Get a little softer. Hold that image in the center of your brow. That slight smile. Letting the image dissolve in its own good time. And then begin to open the eyes again. Just letting the eyes drink in that light without fixating. Let it be seamless. Always finding that balance. Bring yourself back to balance over and over again. Let your eyes softly close again. Visualize that flame, still and unwavering. Brightness for the mind. And open your eyes slowly. With softness, we gaze. And your eyes complete their cleanse, their bath, just bathing in that light. As we close the eyes this time, we're going to use the palms now to just bring a little bit more of a feeling of calming, of that physical touch of calming and soothing the eyes, the sockets. You can tilt your chin up just slightly. Take a nice deep breath in. And exhale, see if you can release back into the optic nerve. Imagine going deeper back into the visual cortex, the back of the brain, just right above the brainstem. And down the spine. Central nervous system. And then softly release the palms, let them slide off and down. And then, as I said, you can change the cross of your legs if you need to, or if you're sitting on the floor, or just move around a bit in your seat. Let's take a breath together, closing the eyes or not, just breathe in. And breathe out. Cool, soothing exhale breath. And now we're going to change direction a little bit, and we're going to place our palms at the heart. This is a special area of focus for many schools of meditation. In yoga, in Sanskrit, it's called the hridayam. But we also know it as the heart lotus, the heart chakra, the anahata, right? So there's this sense of a kind of vortex of energy here. And they say that this is the home of prana, or vital force, but also the place of self, Atman, and also the place of the higher source. Some people call it Brahman, and or it can be any designated divinity, formless or form. Right, so there's this location, this very subtle location. And we honor that location by drawing our palms, placing them here. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, begin to close your eyes. And now we'll focus all of our awareness in the center of that heart lotus, and visualizing a light held right in the center, right in the cave of the heart. Breathing in, imagine that light growing brighter, more radiant, filling every corner of darkness with light. And as you exhale, send out that light. Send it out in all directions. So in the first chapter of the Yoga Sutras, Patanjali describes 7 different ways of meditation, or styles of meditation, or practices. And so one of them, in verse 36, is about visualizing a flame or a light right in the center of the heart lotus. And that bringing all of your awareness here will still the mind, and it will also rid yourself of any despair or sorrow, banishing it completely from the heart. Because the heart has this kind of center or feeling, it's more of an emotional center, right? So we feel our emotions here. So the Sanskrit for that phrase is VISOKA VA JYOTISMATI. So let all sorrow be banished by focusing and framing the mind on that light in the heart. So this is a lovely meditation that you can do a japa of that phrase, just repeating the mantra, or simply as a visualization, just bringing yourself back to that image of a light right in the center of yourself. VISOKA VA JYOTISMATI. VISOKA VA JYOTISMATI. VISOKA VA JYOTISMATI. Letting that light swallow all despair, all sadness, all grief in the heart. Well, I thank you for joining me for this special meditation. I wish you a happy winter solstice, and remembering that it's a time also that we go inward, that we work on ourselves, on our deepmost self, So we hibernate as well as our surroundings. When we see the trees and all the plants go into their hibernation and the animals, right? We kind of do the same. So I wish you a happy and safe and wonderful holiday season and a very purposeful winter season as well. And I'll see you back here soon, I hope. Thank you so much, and namaste.